Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US tech stocks. So we'll start with the Nasdaq. We'll have a quick look at the S&P as well. So the trend to the upside is still intact. What I am seeing though in stocks is that, well, in the indices here, we're looking for wave 4 here with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here to give us this wave 3, and then a larger wave 4 here, and then a wave 5 here for this. Now, what I'm seeing in stocks is that we need to put wave 5 here and wave 3 here in stocks, because stocks like Tesla have been sold off, and they've been sold off on higher volume, and we'll check on that. So they're pretty much going into this fourth wave already here. So I do wonder if I need to look at this as 1 and 2 here, and that little spike here is 3 and 4 and 5 into here. I'll give it a little bit more time here, but if it overlaps this top of wave 1 here, then we'll need to look at the Nasdaq like this here, because as I mentioned, there are a lot of stocks now that will need to put this orange wave 3 in place here. So yeah, as I mentioned over the weeks, is that trends have got a beginning, a middle, and end in every degree of structure, and we're going into wave 4s at this point. So it's a completely different aspect of what we've already had here of this nice wave 3 here. So the idea is to definitely trade less and look after things at the moment. So that's the situation for the Nasdaq. So as long as this holds up here, then let's just go to the 100 ticks. I think we could look at this on, perhaps. No, 20, let me think, 20k here, I think. Let's just see. Okay, this is good. So yeah, so look, what we had here is that we were looking at wave 3 and 4, and then we counted up for 1 and 2 here, and we had 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up for 5 for the third, and then going into, so it fits, and we're looking for this wave 4 at this point. The 38.2% is around here, so we've breached that at the moment. I don't think it's a big deal, but if it moves too far from there, then we've got a bit of an issue. So overlapping this wave 1, as I just mentioned, then what we'll need to do is we'll probably need to bring this wave 3 into here, and then this wave 5 into here, and have this here, and then this over here. So we'll give it a little bit of time. This little move down here, whichever way you want to count this, doesn't appear to be finished. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's likely to come down and bounce off the 300 here, but we don't want to let it go any further than that. Otherwise, we'll need to put this this wave 5 into play over here, because that's what the Nasdaq stocks are telling me, and we'll see as we go with that. The S&P has held up a little bit better, so this is just the SPY here, so it's a bit cleaner. So the wave 3, 4 here, and then going up for wave 5. So we're looking from blue wave 4 as 1 and 2 we've been counting through. And see, it hasn't dropped. It's got a lot of space between here and here on this. So this one's okay-ish on this point. So yeah, so green wave 2 here, we counted all last week up through here to get this top into place, and then we're looking for wave 4, and wave 4 is unfolding. And this the thing with this here, it looks like I can count it in 5 waves as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, but the problem with that, we've got overlapping wave structures here, so that could be an issue. It may not be an issue. We could have wave 4 in here. We could squeeze an impulse wave out of this. We do have a little 5 waves here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think at worst case scenario, this could be wave 1 here, 2 here, 3, 4, and 5 here, and then moving up at that point. I think that's what we could be looking at this point. But Because it's overlapping here, we could look at this here as an ABC for the A wave here, the B wave here, and the C wave here, and then we could squeeze a wave 1 out of this with 1 and 2 and 3 and ABC for 4 and up for 5 here with an A and a B and a C or something, you know what I mean? But all I can say here for the trading point of view is you can go long above that high. Otherwise, they're going to be down here, and then we'll rework it up there, and we'll talk more about that a little bit later. But yeah, all in all, you know, this wave 4 here can come back to this wave 4. That's the norm. And then when we look at a large number like 450 or 4,500 on the futures, then you know, that's all sort of doable at this point, you know. So anyway, that's where that is. So the Nasdaq has been a bit weaker because of some of those stocks being sold off. So let's go in and have a look. So Apple's holding up quite well. We can look at it in two ways. We could look at it as wave 3 here, and then wave 4 here. And then we could look at it in terms of wave 5 over here for wave 3, this wave 3 here, or we can count it up as wave 1 and 2. I do have to say though, it's a little bit sort of unusual to have wave 1 coming up to a large number like this here. It's normally a wave 3, so a typical sort of wave 3 shy off of a larger level. So it's also possible that we can come into play here and have a larger correction in this wave 4 here now as well. You know, we can count this down as we did on the SPY just then, as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave, and have a low in here. So I'll just see how it goes. I mean, it's not like Friday closed strong, so we can't expect it to, you know, have that momentum just to push up. Of course, it's coming deeper into supply here, into demand. So yeah, it can push up, but I just want to give it a session and see what we can glean from any sort of patterns within this space. So for Apple, the bottom line is that the trend is still up. I just don't know if we've got wave 1 and 2 here, which is probably not the case, and we'll need to look at a wave 4. How big can this wave 4 get? Well, it should be bigger than the previous wave 4 here. So there is space for it to grow at this point. And you can count this down in different ways as well. Whichever way you count it down, it's got overlapping wave structures. So it's not presenting as an impulse wave to the downside, but that doesn't really matter in a corrective pattern. So we can travel sideways. There's plenty of support on top of 190 of group 1 of 190, 1, 2, and 3 here. So we'll see how that goes. So I'm not going to make any decisions in here, but I still expect it higher. It's just that we're going to see a little bit more corrective activity there. And this is the same with Amazon as well. We can look at it as wave 1 up here and ABC for wave 2. Or we're going to have to look at it as wave 3 here. So wave 4 and wave 5 of wave 3. And then in this case, we probably need to put this over here and then look for a B wave over here and a C wave over here to match that up a bit further. So that's where that is at the moment. So we don't need to do anything here. The trend is still to the upside. The main trend is still to the upside. We're just going to be in a larger correction here. So it's more likely going to be this wave 5 here of 3 at this point. And then we just got to figure out how wave 4 is going to go. Now we could put wave 4 here and look at this as the A wave here and the B wave here. We could do that, and the C wave coming down a little bit further here, but it does seem a bit impulsive at this point. So we can have a low in here. So there's a couple of little things here. I don't have an impulse wave to go long on yet, even though that this is probably, we could now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now it looks corrective. So we're not there just yet on this. So we're not going to do anything here just yet. That's the main gist of this. Even if we do push up here, you know, we would need to see, if we were going to turn bullish here, we would need to take the top and bottom here, look at the 61.8%, and we would need to have 5 waves to this 61.8%, and then we could buy the pullback at that point, right? So we're not going to miss much anyway. We just need confirmation that we're on the right, that the trend has started, and I don't have that yet. So we don't have anything to work off at this particular point in time. This is NVIDIA here, and it's been a fantastic trend, as you know. So yeah, once again, we can see for the first time up here at the 400 here that the market came back down and overlapped a top area here, because most of the time here it's just been pushing higher all the time. So it's coming into the later, not the end of the trend, but it's going into wave. Well, these are all 1s and 2s, and now we're going into 4s and 5s here. So it's a different environment to trade in, and you need to be careful about wave 4s. We can see the stochastics pulling back. We can see that I can see that the trend still needs to go higher. This is also a question here as well, in that from this wave 4, we can look at this as wave 1 and 2 here, and 3 here, and we're also looking back for wave 4 here, the same as we were looking for the Nasdaq and the S&P to do the same, and we can push up from that point. But if it overlaps at this point here, at this degree of structure, then we've got an issue at that point, and we would need to look at this being wave 3 in some way or another. I know it's a little bit odd, and then we'll need to also look at this being wave 4 down here. So we're just going to give this a little bit of time. I won't go to the intraday on this at the moment. So yeah, this just today was really about where we can see that the markets need to push up higher. We know that they're in series of wave 4s, just trying to figure out which wave 4s. I don't see any sort of intraday setups on this. Of course, you can buy on these lows, but we could also, this wave 4 here can pull back to the previous wave 4. It did not in this case because it had the 250 here, this wave 4 to this wave 4, but this one did over here to this wave 4 over here. It'll be a smaller wave 4 in here. So you can input that at the top there. Yeah, we just need to be a little bit careful with that as well, and you need to look after your positions as well. So meta platforms as well. So we've seen this come off sharply as well. So we definitely need to put wave 3 up here for that now. So this particular market, Netflix, Tesla, these markets have been sold off, and they're in sharper corrections. So in this case here, we can look at this as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here for this. So I think we can go into maybe 100 ticks if we've been working on that space. I'm not sure, but just double check to see if I've updated anything. Yeah, right. So yeah, so we've got to put this wave 3 in the top here. We may have all done that on Friday, I'm not sure. So basically it looks quite impulsive to the downside here. There may be another little move down here to finish this off, but we should be looking at some sort of ABC and then another move down before moving off up here. This is not a corrective pattern just yet for this, okay? So we don't need to do anything here. So yeah, we just need to wait it out really. So that's okay. We don't need to do anything. And I've mentioned before too that we could trade long once we got that wave 3 in, and we're halfway through into this wave 4. So we'll look to trade this move up here. We just need that to set itself up. So there's nothing there just yet for Facebook. And Netflix has been sold off. So we need to put a top in there. It's come way back down. So once again, we need to look for some sort of A, B, and C pattern here before we can go long again here. I was looking at Netflix here. You can see this is a weekly chart. You can see the volume on this. So once you get a a bar that closes lower than it opened, like this here, on higher volume, you can be pretty assured it's a turning point within the market. Okay, so yeah, we're quite sort of high up here. But anyway, just looking for an ABC pattern here for this. Some of these markets, we can look at the bearish candle, which we haven't looked at for a while. Let's just rearrange this here a moment. Just give me a chance here for this. See, the thing here that's always sort of haunted me a little bit is I can see 5 waves down through the top there. That should be reasonably clear. And then we can see this is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the third wave, fourth wave, and fifth wave. So it's possible to view it as a 5 wave move. You know, that's sort of always sort of lingered in the background. And I do come back to it now and again, and we need to come back to it here. So we are at this is the, well, that's the 61.8% just here for that. So we're very close to it. I'm sure I had this bearish count somewhere else. Let me just have a look on the daily chart, because I thought that I put it somewhere that I would yeah, here we go, that I would be, you know, that I wouldn't miss it because of this. Sure, I can look at this down here as some sort of A, B, and C wave. You know, I'm aware of that, but because it can be counted in 5 waves, well, then I thought, well, you know, I better keep an eye on it. So yeah, people are tightening their belts, and you know, interest rates, just because they're eased, it doesn't really mean they've gone away. It does give markets like the banks a chance to run up high, and they can do that for, you know, a good few months. So, but yeah, I mean, this can be counted as the A, the B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So we've got that volume coming in. So basically, I think what we need to do is just really consider some type of ABC correction to come into play here for this. But just wanted to bring up the bearish thing again, especially when you're in, you know, I like when you're in a bull market, I like to have a look at the bearish patterns as well. So alphabet here, we've already had wave 3 in here already on this. It's just the way that it's best suited with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's quite nice in this way. You could count this as also a bearish pattern as well that we looked at. Won't look at it again today, but we can go, you know, an A wave, a B wave, and I know I have to go WXY, so I won't go there. But so as long as that low stays in here, we can look at this as wave 4 with wave 1 and 2 here, and then moving up at this point. Okay, so it's a little bit different than the other market. So I'm going to go from the 20,000. But if this breaches here, then we're going to need to have a look at this wave 4 here. And yeah, let's just put that there for a moment. And where are we? 100 ticks. So we've got this nice 5 wave structure up here. This wave 2 is getting a little bit large here. That's a bit concerning. So we've got an A and a B and 1 and 2 and 3. And last time we spoke, we were looking for wave 4 here that we can put in place. It looks like it wants to even go higher from this point. So I'll just, that looks like a little C wave here. I could put that there as an A and a B and a C, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming down here. So it just needs to finish off here with a little 5 wave. So let's just see what we've got. Otherwise, I'll have to extend wave 4 over here, as I just mentioned as well. So that's where that is. And And Microsoft will also need to put this wave 3 in for Microsoft here as well, I believe. So because we've got overlapping wave structures here. So once again, we'll probably need to look for some type of correction here, but the trend is certainly not over at this point. Let me just have a look at 100 ticks in here just to get that top there. So last time we spoke, we had this as wave 1 here with an alternative wave 3, but I believe we've got to put the wave 3 here now and have this as an alternative structure here as well. Currently, it will be looking for support here. It's on that little pocket here for that 61.8%. And the other point here is it does look like we can count that down as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2. And well, I could probably do that a different way as well. I just want to wait and see, okay? I just want to see I just want to get a little bit more price pattern here. I just want to see if we've got something like this first, you know. So I just want to wait this out here. I don't want to call anything in here for Microsoft just yet. Just want to sort of confirm that larger wave 3. Okay, so with Tesla here, we've also got that sell-off here as well. So I wanted just to have a look at the volume on that. So I just got trading view here and just looking at the volume on a weekly chart. So yeah, once again, we've got that same bar there with higher volume. So that's definitely it's definitely a sell-off. It's definitely profit taking, and we'll need to just allow that to land, and then we'll look at the rally. But we'll take a closer look inside it. But just to let you know that, you know, this is this is significant here. So all of this trend up here, that can be the end of that trend. It may come down to this previous bar here and then push up again. So this is what we'll be viewing shortly and trying to understand, you know. But you can see that with with all trends, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it's like this one here. There's a beginning, there's a strong part in here, and even though the 200 lines in the way there, you can see it consolidating at that point. So it's got a beginning, a middle, and an end. And the same as this one here, it's got the building process, it's got the middle, and it's got an end. So definitely there's an ending process here. So it's not the time to, we've been long in this, and we need to be out based on that volume. And we just need to sit back and wait. We don't need to do anything just yet. We'll just see how strong that sell-off is. The reason I've got this chart up here for, though, is just really to point out, because it's nice and clean, is just to point out that from the top here, this move down through here is not impulsive because it's got overlapping wave structures, you know. So basically, whichever way you want to look at it, this move is corrective, and because it was so sort of sharp, it makes a nice wave 2, and then it can build on that process. So Tesla's, you know, car sales were down, but they've got a lot of, you know, if you follow Tesla a little bit, I don't, but I, you know, try to keep abreast of some things. I mean, their software for auto driving is something that can be licensed out to, you know, all their competition. So, you know, making a few K on top of each car sale of all your competition is a pretty nice way to go as well. So there's things like that in the pipeline, obviously. So not to get sort of wrapped up just in the weaker sales, but we know that everybody's penny pinching at the moment, and yeah, so that's going to reflect in things. Now, the other point here that we need to make is that this is really, you know, when we had this move here, we had, you know, 5 waves up. So after a correction, we could go up there again in that, right? But we've had that now. So really, this wave 2, it could come over here as well. I'm just giving the good, the bad, and the ugly. All I'm saying is that I don't have anything to base another trend off here just yet. If I can establish that this move down here is going to be corrective in some way, now it may just come down to here and move up and have another high here, but then I'll still have the same issue. I'll need to understand, I need to see a corrective pattern over here for that. It's not like I've got 5 waves here. I know I'm going to get a correction and then another 5. I don't know that. It's probable that we'll, correct and go further up, but I don't have that evidence there just yet. So I like to move off evidence. So based on that, I'm not going to say that, we're going to come down to here and then move up. That's what I'm thinking. But I need to prove that. And even if that's correct and we go up here one more, then the same thing applies as well. I don't know, because that will be in 3 waves at that point. That could be correct. All of that could be a big B wave up here. That's possible, I don't think it's the case when I look at the Nasdaq and the S&P and the indices and so on. But just taking things at face value and build cases off that, because I still need to put, I need to look at, Google and Amazon and Microsoft. I need to look at them in this particular light as well. So that's what we'll be doing. So, okay, so if we just go to, just burned up a bit of time, let's go to 100 ticks and bring in some data here. Let's just get in some more. So we can see that strong sell-off, which we talked about last time we spoke. So you could probably, at face value, I could look at this as 1 and 2 here and 3 here and 4 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So I could look at it as the A wave here, and then an A and a B. That's in 3 waves so far, and then a C wave up here for a B wave. Because it's in 5 waves here, I could look at it as corrective as well. I could rearrange it, but because I can see it like that with 5 waves, then that's, I need to, I don't want to put my head in the sand. I can see that, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and then here this is 1 and 2, and probably 3 here. You could probably rearrange that, but 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, and something in here. So, and that's pulling back to the 60, even though that could be viewed as 3 waves to the upside, but it has pulled back to the 61.8% in here by the looks of it. So, look, it could be the B wave here. I'm not quite sure at this stage. Can it come down here further? Absolutely. So I'll just chill on this a little bit. I don't want to go long here. If this turns out to be wave 1 and 2 here and 3, 4 and 5 here, then we'll see that and we'll buy the pullback, okay? So don't feel like you've missed anything if this pushes up here, because we have to eliminate the possibility of B wave coming into play here. Okay, so we'll just see how that goes a little bit. But yeah, it does appear that we've got 5 waves here. So I'll just leave it at that today. So basically the takeaway today is that we may need to put the Nasdaq with wave 3 up here. And if that's the case, we need to give the market a little bit more time to see if we're going to get some sort of ABC here. And then if that is the case, then that's going to give us a nice long opportunity to come into play as well. And we'll need to see, if we're going to get some sort of ABC pattern here in Tesla and Microsoft and those sorts of things, then we may need to give the SPY a little bit more time. We may need to give the Nasdaq a little bit more time, and so on. So we just need to be a little bit mindful at the moment. And if we're patient, then the opportunities will be surrounded by them. Alrighty, cheers.